Apparently, AI has a lot of buzz surrounding it, and I don't see that going away anytime soon. People use it to get workout plans, help them with their resumes, maybe find some recipes. And right now, I'm in a bit of a reading slump. This always tends to happen to me at the beginning of the year. I read a lot during the holidays, and by January, no books are really intriguing me. So I figured I'm gonna have AI ask me some questions to figure out which books I should read next. Okay, so I'm in ChatGPT. So hi, are you able to ask me some questions and pick the next book I read? Okay, so of course, I'd be happy to help you choose your next book. To get started, could you answer a couple of questions? So, mood. I'm in a fictional mood. I enjoy fantasy, romance, mystery, and thriller books. Are you looking for something light and entertaining? Yes, I need light and entertaining, especially when you're in a little bit of a slump. Let's see what it generates. Okay, great. Based on your preference for fiction, fantasy, romance, mystery, and thriller, and your preference for something light and entertaining, I have recommended you Howl's Moving Castle by Diane Wynne Jones. I've never heard of this book before. Let me see here. I'm a little nervous because the reading age is 9+ years, grades 3 through 7. I don't know if I want to read this, I'll be honest. I think it's going to be too young for me. So I think I'm going to go back to the chat and ask if they could pick something else for age group of 20 to 40 age range. Certainly, taking into account the age range of 25 to 40 years, I recommend The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. The cover looks pretty cute. I'm gonna probably go to Barnes & Nobles and pick this up because I'm kind of in the mood to feel a book. So we're gonna do that. And then the next time you see me, we'll be reading. Hopefully it's good. Okay guys, a little Rosie Project update because I don't think I have done any sort of update. I'm on chapter 10. The book is pretty short and the writing is so funny and it's flowing really well. We must protect Don Tillman at all costs, who is the main character in this book. Don is just on his journey to find a wife, which he created something called the Wife Project. He's created a questionnaire that he wants to give to women either on blind dates or speed dating. And it's basically with his non-negotiables. And then he has recently met Rosie and she goes against pretty much everything on the questionnaire, but she's one of the main characters. So we'll see how that progresses. Anyways, it's super cute. I'm really enjoying it and I can't wait to see how it ends. I'm excited. Hi guys, I'm not done the Rosie Project just yet. I'm hoping to get it done today. But I have a Barnes gift card that I want to use. And I kind of want to get there earlier in the day so that I could come back and just read. But I want ChatGPT to recommend me a couple of other books. I definitely want a fantasy romance, fantasy book, and then a mystery thriller. Those are my genres. I really enjoy them. So let's see what they got for me. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back to the chat that I was already in and just ask it for a fantasy romance read. Okay, for a fantasy book with a touch of romance that suits the reading age range 25 to 40, I recommend Uprooted by Naomi Novik. All right, we'll see how this one goes. It has pretty decent ratings, 4-star on Goodreads, 4.5 on Amazon. The cover is intriguing enough. Okay, all right, so we got that, and now we'll do a mystery thriller. Okay, so Gone Girl. I have seen the movie. I don't think I want to read the book, so I'm gonna see about a different one. I'm just gonna say I've read it. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Okay, I've read that as well. Ugh. Okay, we're striking out here. Okay, The Silent Patient. Okay, now that I'm looking at this cover, I feel like I've seen this around. So yeah, we're gonna go for it. I'm excited. Oh, it's free on Kindle Unlimited. My husband has my Kindle and he's out of town. That's okay. We will purchase it, but I'm excited. I will say I'm a little nervous about this fantasy read. Slightly nervous, but we're going with it. This is what AI wanted. We're gonna do it. Good morning. Sorry if the lighting is not that great. It's another rainy day here. But I was gonna film this last night, but I finished reading The Rosie Project and it was midnight and I had so many thoughts and I'm like, should I record this now? No, go to bed. You look like a freaking mess. So here we are. It is the next day. I truly loved this book. It was just something I did not expect. When I first started reading, I was like, oh man, there's like a lot of sciencey stuff being talked about. But instantly, I really enjoyed Dawn, the main character. He's on a mission to find a wife, so he creates a wife project. He's very obsessed with projects and gets very engrossed in trying to solve something. And so then enters Rosie, and then he starts focusing on something called the Father Project because Rosie is on a quest to find her biological father. I loved both characters. I loved Dawn and I loved Rosie. Dawn had me laughing at certain moments, but then also understanding him in a empathetic way. And Rosie was just so considerate. She was understanding of who Dawn was. And I just appreciated both characters and they had such growth throughout the book. God, it was just this, I'm gonna say it because I've sat on it a little bit this morning as well. This is my first 5-star read of 2024. So if you start reading this book and you're like, oh my God, there's like talk about genetics and science stuff, move past it. It's okay. You'll actually be enjoying those moments as you get further into the book. If you like Atypical on Netflix or the movie Silver Lining Playbook, you will, I think, enjoy this read for sure. But AI did a great job. I really am glad that they chose this book for me. So now I'm on to the next book. I don't know which one, Uprooted or Silent Patient. I really do want little fantasy, so I'm probably gonna go with Uprooted. Let's see. Let's talk Uprooted. Where do I begin? Let me start with a bit of a positive. The story, I'm intrigued by it. I want to know what's going to happen, where it's going. But these chapters are so long. There's very little dialogue. As far as my previous fantasy reads go, I've read Fourth Wing and I've read 4 of the Zodiac Academy books. So I definitely do like a more fast-paced fantasy. And unfortunately, I think this is more like a folk fantasy. There's magical elements to it, which I do like. But my gosh, it is so freaking long. I ended up reading up until chapter 6 last night, and then this morning I woke up and I was like, that's it. I'm doing it. I'm getting it on audiobook, and I did. and it is going a lot faster, but let me tell you, even with it being on 1.5 speed, I'm pretty sure that's what I'm listening to it at, it's still like 30 to 40 minutes per chapter. So that's what I'm dealing with here, guys. I'll talk about it more and what the book's about as I get further in, probably the next time you see me when I'm done with the book. Because even I'm still trying to like figure out all the little elements to it. But besides all the like length of it and a lot of narration, it's a compelling story.
Thrust one end of them deep into the stone walls of the chamber, while Kasha, the thing inside Kasha, stood back and watched us, unblinking. I held a ring of fire around her, and when he was done, I heard...
Okay, let's chat. I finished Uprooted. I'm not gonna lie, it was really tough to get through, even on audiobook. I would say the book picks up speed probably at around 200 pages. So the book follows Neshka, and it's her point of view throughout the entire book. She lives in a town where the dragon, aka a wizard, overlooks it, helps protect it from the woods, which is like an enchanted wood that has almost like a demonic essence to it. So because he's the protector, every 10 years he goes into Neshka's town and selects a young woman to live in his castle and pretty much be his servant. And that person, this particular year, upcoming 10 years, is Neshka. So the first 150 pages are just her adjusting to living there. Something does end up happening where Neshka has to go into the woods. I'm not going to give away too much, but that's when the plot begins to come alive. Yeah, the last 200 pages, there was so much going on, a lot of moving parts. I was a little checked out, I'm not going to lie. I don't think it's my type of fantasy book. This is like fairy tale fantasy, folk fantasy. I would say the writing was good, but overall, not my thing. And I will say, even when I was buying this book, the cover didn't like entice me. Like it wasn't something, if I seen this on the shelf, I probably wouldn't pick it up. So needless to say, after reading this, I was like, oh man, I don't know. Did I mess up doing this book? Like the Rosie Project had me here. This book was kind of giving me like, am I back in that slump vibe? But then last night I started Silent Patient. I really like this book. I would say yes, this follows a main plot of Tim, our lead character, being a psychologist, and he wants to understand why Alicia killed her husband. And the moment after she killed her husband, she goes silent. Tim now wants to help her and try to understand where this was coming from, why she killed her husband. But I think what's beautiful, and I've annotated a couple things, is the other underlining story within this. And I think it has a lot to do with healing your inner child, how the love you get as a child is reflective in your adult life. And that part has definitely resonated with me. Like I'm gonna share a couple things because I just think it's so well done. And if you're trying to heal from something of your past, maybe it would help resonate. Ruth shook her head. I don't mean that. I mean with your parents when you were younger. If there's a childhood dynamic here you might be replaying. Trying to please someone unpredictable, someone emotionally unavailable, uncaring, unkind, trying to keep them happy, win their love. Is this not an old story, Theo? A familiar story? Ugh. From somebody like myself that has come from a parental figure that didn't know how to give me love. And you think about it in an aspect where your parents are the first person that love you and you love them. Like it's supposed to come naturally. It's the first thing that you experience as far as love goes. to see how dysfunctional that love was. Oh gosh, it just, let me keep going because it's just, there's a lot of good ones in here. You know, Theo, one of the hardest things to admit is that we haven't loved when we needed it most. It's a terrible feeling, the pain of not being loved. Ugh, I feel those lines. I really do. Hold on. Okay, this wasn't just about Kathy, it was about my father and my childhood feelings of abandonment, my grief for everything I had, never had, and in my heart still believed I never would have. There's so much more to this story than the death of someone, and it's showing the empathy within that maybe we're going to see with Alicia. I'm not sure just yet, but there are aspects that Theo and Alicia kind of have gone through that are very similar. So I'm curious to see where this book is going to go. I feel like I'm going to finish it tonight because it's so easy for me to digest this and read very quickly. It's so far so good. So we started really good with Rosie Project. We went a little down with Uprooted, but now we're creeping back up to another, I think, is going to be a highly rated book. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm excited to keep going. Oh my gosh, this book. First of all, I'm devouring it. I have like 20 pages left. If what I read, oh my gosh, what is going on? Oh, okay, I'm trying to process what I just read. This is wild. All right, I'm gonna finish. We're probably gonna have to check back tomorrow and we'll discuss. But what the heck is going on? Here we are, well rested, ready to talk about this silent patient. So the last clip you guys saw of me, I was kind of freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, the little plot twist really, I didn't really see coming, although now reflecting, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And I really liked the twist. I wasn't mad at it. The problem was part 5 of this book. I feel the author should have just mic dropped it the way he did and not go into a part 5, because that's what really makes or breaks a mystery thriller, in my opinion. You can have such a solid twist and then need to over-explain or give us more detail. I kind of just wish he would have left it for his readers to just be a little mind-effed. And then at the beginning, we do get into family dynamics. I don't know if that was really dived in enough. I thought it was going to be a little more than that, especially on Alicia's part. So in that aspect, I was kind of left wanting more, especially more about the reason why she did what she did. You get a little bit in part 5, but I don't know. I don't know if I like the way it was done overall at that last part. That being all said, the book flowed really well. I read it in a day. I like the author's writing style. It definitely kept me intrigued and wondering what was going to happen the entire time. Had he ended the book in the mic drop moment, I probably would have given this a 5-star, but I think overall a good rating is like 4 for this book. So overall, ChatGPT did a pretty decent job selecting some books. I had 2 heavy hitters, 1 a little bit of a miss. I would say if you ever find yourself into a reading slump, definitely ask AI for a couple suggestions. You never know. If you've read any of the books that I read in this vlog, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one. Bye guys.